Today I'm going to continue the discussion about configuring Linux as router firewall using the IPTables. Here in this session I want to discuss the IPSET and how to use it with IPTables to effectively and permanently block any bad hosts or bad guys from attacking our system or networks. Actually, IPSET are a framework inside Linux kernel which can be administered by the IPSET utility. And depending on the type used, an IPSET may store IP addresses, networks, TCP or UDP port numbers, MAC addresses, interface names, or combination of them in such a way to speed up matching an entry against the set. Simply, it's an associative application for the IPTable Linux firewall, which allow us to set up rules quickly and easily to keep evil addresses away from our systems. First, we need to install the required packages, the IPSET and the IPSET service. And for that, we can use DNF to install these packages. Second, we have to create text file with name IPSET under the /etc/IPSET directory, and it must be read-write only by root. This file will be used to keep the banning lists that we're gonna create across system reboot. Next, we need to copy the /user/lib systemd system IPSET service file to the /etc systemd system directory. Then do a small change to this copy. Just open the file with the VI editor, and under the service section added the execute stop post line as shown here, and also set the environment variables IPSET save on stop and IPSET save on restart to yes instead of no. This will ensure saving the IPSET lists to the default file /etc/IPSET immediately after stopping the service, so that it can be read by the IPSET service at boot time. Now reload the systemd daemon to commit the change, enable the IPSET service, and you are done. Okay, DNF install IPSET and IPSET service. And the package is already installed on my system. Okay. Now we need to create the IPSET file under etc IPSET and touch IPSET text file. Okay. Then change mode to be read-write only by root. IPSET. Okay. Then we need to copy the service file from the user lib systemd system IPSET .service file to the dir etc systemd system dir. Okay, change dir to the etc systemd system, and we need to do some modification on this file. here under the service unit we want to add the execute stop post user has been IPSET save to the file etc IPSET okay. Also we need to change this environment variable IPSET save on stop to yes and IPSET save on restart to yes. Then write and quit. Reload the system daemon system ctl daemon reload to commit the change, and then we need to enable the IPSET service system ctl enable IPSET dot service. Okay, then start it. Okay, let's now create an IPSET list that contains the network subnets we want to ban. But first we need to get a list of the annoying network subnets that we want to block. For that we can inspect the IPTable recent list on our system in /process/net xt_recent and write down the annoying source IP addresses from there. Then using one of the most popular site country IP blocks at www.country-ipblocks.net/country_selection.php we can get the corresponding subnets for these IP addresses. For example, here is a list of the annoying subnets that corresponds to the annoying addresses that I have got from the recent module SSH list using the above link. Now to create an IPSET list with name badnets that includes the above subnets, we use the IPSET command with the create option, then the list name which is badnets, and it should be of type net hash in this case. IPSET create badnets net hash. Then to add the above subnets to the badnets list, we use the IPSET command with the added option here. IPSET added badnets and the network you want to add it, and you can repeat this command for every subnet you need to add it to the badnet list. If you want to create a list to include only IP addresses but not subnets, we have to use the same command with type #IP instead. To list the contents of an IPSET list, we use the list option with the IPSET command. To delete an item from a list, we use the delete option with the IPSET command. To save the list to some file, we use the IPSET save and direct it to a file. To restore the list from file, we use the IPSET restore option to get the list from file. To delete the contents of the list but not the list itself, we use the flush option. And to destroy a list and its contents, we use the destroy option. To use the bad guy list with IPTables, to drop any connection attempts from the IP addresses included in the list, we use the set module for that. The match set to specify the list name, and the source here tells IPTable that we are matching source addresses. Now let's create the bad guy list that will include the addresses that we want to ban. IPSET create bad guys, and it should be of type hash IP. Okay. Then we can inspect the recent module SSH list under process.net xt_recent to get some annoying source addresses. This one, okay, we can add this source address to the bad guy list. IPSET added bad guys. Okay. And this also should be added. Okay. Now if we list the IPSET list, IPSET list bad guys, here is the IP addresses that we just added to the bad guy list. Okay. Usually attackers runs port scanning software against the target machine to find out the open ports on that system before starting attacking it. And to stop these people from attacking our systems, we can use the IPTables with IPSET to create a trap to catch these people and immediately drop them before doing any damages to our systems. For example, we can create an IPTables rule to drop anyone trying to access some random TCP ports like 23, 1433 and 232, which are not used by any service running on our system. And since an attempt for accessing any of these ports means a port scanning software being used against us, we have to drop the connection immediately. You can add the following rules as early as possible into IPTable to prevent that. The first rule here uses the set target to append to the bad guy list any host address trying to connect to any of these ports. Then drop them immediately in the second rule. Okay, to block the addresses that are trying to use port scanning software against us, we have to add the following rules and as early as possible in the input and forward chains. Let's list IPTables list the input chain first, line numbers, and we can insert this rule here at number 4. IPTables insert input 4 P TCP M multiport T ports 23 14 33 232 G set added two bad guys added set bad guys okay. Then drop the bad guy list IPTables insert input 5 set match set bad guys source G drop. Okay, and list. Okay, with respect to the forward chain, we need only to add the rule to drop the bad guy list and as early as possible in the chain. IPTables list forward line numbers here. Okay, so we can insert at rule number 3 IPTables insert forward 3 set match set bad guys source G drop. Okay, here let's now save the IP table rules. Sorry, service IPTables save. Okay, another example here is to use the IPTable recent module to directly append to the bad guy list any source address that try to exceed our limit before dropping it with the next rule. Here is a change that could be done on our SSH custom chain for that, and as you see here, we need to add only one rule just after the log statement, which added to the bad guy list any source address trying to open more than 10 connections with the SSH daemon within 10 minutes time window. Okay, for the SSH custom chain, IPTables list SSH line numbers. Okay, so we can insert at number 3 the rule that will add it to the bad guy list anyone trying to open more than 10 connection within 10 minutes. IP tables insert SSH number 3 recent update seconds 600 heat count 11 name SSH list G set added set bad guys source. Okay, for the FTP custom chain, okay, here we can insert at number 2 a rule that will add it to the bad guy list anyone trying to open more than 10 connection within 5 minutes. IPTables insert FTP at number 2 recent update seconds 300 heat count 11 name FTP list G set added set bad guys source. And same thing for the mail custom chain. But this time it's within 60 seconds and the heat count is 21. Mail list. Okay, let's save the IP table rules. IPTables save, and we are done. Also, and since we added a rule to drop the bad guy list in the early stage at IPTables, as seen in the previous example, any new connection attempts from such addresses will be dropped before again coming here. Another important thing I want to mention here is that you can create an IPSET list that will expire after a certain amount of time, an hour for example, and if you like that, you can use the timeout option when creating the list. and this command will create the bad guy list that will expire after 1 hour. I guess at this point we have covered the most important things about configuring Linux as router firewall for our networks, and in the upcoming videos I'm going to show you how to configure the different services that we have had referred to on our DMZ LAN. So thank you for watching, and bye.